He's 12 matches deep into the season. He's already holding 2 trophies, and now he's staring at a record that hasn't been touched in 9 years. Because if Carlos Alcaraz walks out Indian Wells and Miami with both titles, he won't just be winning tournaments. He'll be matching something Roger Federer did in 2017. And that's when the conversation changes. This isn't about hype anymore. This isn't about potential. This is about dominance. Carlos Alcaraz has started 2026 like a man on a mission. 12 straight wins. An Australian Open title. A Qatar Open title. No drama. No wobble. Just clean, ruthless tennis. And when you watch him right now, it doesn't feel like he's surviving matches. It feels like he's controlling the entire sport. There was talk coming into this year that there might be a question mark over him. Some analysts whispered that maybe the field was catching up. Maybe Jannik Sinner was ready to take over. Maybe the physical load of his explosive style would slow him down. But look at what's actually happening. Alcaraz isn't chasing the pack. He's separating from it. And now the sunshine swing begins. Indian Wells. Then Miami. The desert and the humidity. 2 completely different atmospheres. 2 completely different physical challenges. But together, they form one of the most brutal and prestigious stretches on the ATP calendar. Winning one is impressive. Winning both? That's legendary territory. The last man to pull it off was Roger Federer in 2017. Let that sink in. 9 years have passed since someone conquered both Indian Wells and Miami in the same season. That's how difficult this double truly is. Novak Djokovic did it in 2016. Federer did it in 2017. Since then, nobody. And now Alcaraz is walking into California in the form of his life. Look at the recent history. In 2023, Alcaraz took Indian Wells. In 2024, he did it again. He's already comfortable in that desert wind. He thrives on the slower hard courts that allow him to construct points and explode at the right moment. Miami has been trickier historically for players. The humidity, the speed of the courts, the mental drain of back-to-back Masters events. But Alcaraz has already shown he can adapt anywhere. If he pulls this off, he joins Federer in a very exclusive modern club. And here's where it gets interesting. Because this isn't just about trophies. This is about psychological control over the tour. When Federer won the Sunshine Double in 2017, it wasn't just about the titles. It was about what those wins represented. He beat Stan Wawrinka in Indian Wells. Then he went to Miami and took down Rafael Nadal in the final. 6-3, 6-4. After that Miami victory, Federer didn't pretend it was easy. He talked about how draining the week had been. He said it felt like fight mode. He admitted Nadal had chances. He respected the battle. That humility made the dominance even scarier. Now look at Alcaraz. He's only 22, yet he already carries himself like someone who understands the weight of legacy. He smiles. He plays with flair. But when the match tightens, something shifts in his eyes. There's calculation there. Even Jannik Sinner, who many believe will be neck and neck with him this year, is struggling to keep pace with this current run. Sinner remains elite, no question. But right now, Alcaraz looks like he has an extra gear in big moments. And here's the curiosity gap. What happens if he actually wins both? Because the conversation doesn't stop at Indian Wells and Miami. If Alcaraz sweeps the sunshine swing, he enters the clay season with momentum that could reshape the entire calendar. He might even choose to skip one of the early clay events to protect his body ahead of Roland Garros. That would be a power move. That would signal confidence. That would tell the tour, I don't need everything. I'm targeting the biggest prizes. That's what the greats do. Let's look at the champions over the years. 2016, Novak Djokovic. Indian Wells and Miami. 2017, Roger Federer. Indian Wells and Miami. Since then, split champions. Different winners. Upsets. Breakthroughs. Chaos. The Sunshine Double exposes weaknesses. It tests endurance. It punishes even small dips in focus. To win both, you need more than talent. You need durability. You need emotional balance. You need to survive 2 weeks of expectations, media pressure, travel, and opponents who are desperate to stop you. Alcaraz right now looks built for that. But here's the twist nobody wants to say out loud. The more dominant he becomes, the bigger the target on his back. Young players will swing freer against him. Veterans will treat matches against him like career statements. Every opponent will circle his name in red. That's the real test of greatness. Not when you're chasing, but when you're hunted. Federer understood that in 2017, after winning the Australian Open and then the Sunshine Double, he made smart scheduling decisions. He protected his body. He skipped parts of the clay season, and it extended his career. Could Alcaraz follow that blueprint? It wouldn't shock me, because what we're watching now doesn't feel random. It feels strategic. He's managing points better. He's choosing aggression more wisely. He's not overswinging on return games. His serve percentage in pressure moments has quietly improved. These are small details casual fans might miss, but they matter in Masters 1000 finals. And imagine the scenario. Indian Wells final. Tight third set. The desert wind swirling. Alcaraz down break point. Does he panic? Or does he lean into the moment the way Federer did against Nadal in Miami 2017? Staying calm when the scoreboard suggested control, but the match felt razor thin? That's the parallel. Not just titles. Temperament. We talk about records like they're numbers, but they're really stories. Stories about who handled the chaos best. Right now, Alcaraz is telling a story of inevitability, but tennis is ruthless. One bad service game. One twisted ankle. One inspired opponent. That's all it takes to derail a double attempt. So let me ask you something real. Is this the moment Alcaraz separates from his generation for good? Or is this exactly when someone like Sinner strikes back and reminds us this rivalry isn't finished? Because the sunshine swing has a way of revealing truths. If Alcaraz wins both events, he won't just match Federer's 2017 achievement. He'll announce that this era belongs to him. Not shared, not negotiated, claimed. And if he falls short, the hunger will only grow. Either way, this next month is massive. We are watching a 22-year-old chase something that hasn't been done since one of the greatest seasons of Federer's late career. That's not hype. That's context. And context is everything in tennis. So when Alcaraz steps onto those California courts, remember what's at stake. It's more than ranking points. It's more than prize money. It's history. And history has been waiting 9 years for someone brave enough to take it. Before we close, I want to hear from you. If Alcaraz wins the Sunshine Double, should he skip an early clay event to protect himself for Roland Garros? Or should he push for even more momentum? Drop your thoughts below because this decision could shape the entire 2026 season. This is what Tennis IQ is about. Not just scores, not just headlines. We break down the meaning behind the moments. We connect the past to the present. And we ask the questions that actually matter in this sport we love. Stay sharp, stay passionate, and never stop thinking about the game.